If you were a millionaire, what would you do with the money?
We'd go out and buy us a bunch of prize hogs.
I'd find myself a total stud.
If you were a millionaire, what would you do with the money?
We'd go out and buy us a bunch of prize hogs.
What you do with the money is up to you.
Maybe a kiss. Bigger kiss. Good boy. There you go. That's my boy. Good. Come on, son. That was cute. That was cute, bud. Hi, I'm Darik Anderson, and I teach horses and people how to talk together.
On a bareback stallion, he rides like the wind. They are as one, like brothers, like kin. He plays, he walks, he runs, he talks with the horses. He whispers, he's wise in their ways. He looks, he listens, he hears what they say. He can prance, he can dance, he can laugh, he can fly with the horses. And with love and trust and the touch of a gentle hand, he's the man who talks with horses so they understand. Listen, you can learn the language if your heart is true. And like the man who talks with horses, you can too.
But you have to learn how to talk horse because you're supposed to be the smarter one, right? So rather than trying to teach a horse how to speak English, it's your job to try to communicate what you want to them. There's nothing that you would ever want to teach your horse to do they don't already know how to do. Walk, trot, canter, this way. Walk on their hind legs, back up, lay down, pick up their feet. Good, good, there you go. The real challenge is to get them to do it when you ask.
And with love and trust and the touch of a gentle hand, he's the man who talks with horses so they understand. Listen, you can learn the language if your heart is true. And like the man who talks with horses, you can too.
Being an only child, both my parents worked. I didn't have a dog, a bicycle, a motorcycle, and the nearest neighbor was about 3 miles away. And I had horses. They were my transportation, my communication, my brother, my sister. Horses have an inborn need to reciprocate. Reciprocating is everything. That means if I love them, they love you back. If I scratch them here, they scratch you back. If I'm afraid of them, they're afraid of you back.
And with love and trust and the touch of a gentle hand, he's the man who talks with horses so they understand. Listen, you can learn the language if your heart is true. And like the man who talks with horses, you can too.
What are you doing, huh? You a good girl? Kind of missed you. You're getting old these days. Oh. We still got to function, though, you know? Sure missed you.
Thing as a human who can talk a horse's language. Around Vader, Washington, folks seem to think so. Pat Wilkins reports in his Northwest Journal that horse trainer Darik Anderson does seem to have a special way with horses.
Darik Anderson and our money. Prize-winning performances are common to young horseman Darik Anderson. And that's mostly because he makes it appear so uncommonly easy to stunt with a fiery Arabian stallion, and all without bridle or saddle.
Come back, yeah. This Because when he starts playing, he bounces around like a brand new puppy. Good boy.
Darik Anderson of Vader is an extraordinary horse trainer. He absolutely does not use force.
He wants to understand what you want and work for you because that's fun for him. Because in that, he's allowed to be part and he's accepted and he's included in everything.
Darik calls his system equine communication, which just might be interpreted as horse sense.
It's a very simple, common sense approach based mainly on natural reactions that your horses have. We try to convince these animals that we're on their side and we're there to help them.
It helps that Darik grew up with horses, but he says actual training time and interacting with the horses is about 20 minutes a day. He says people are amazed that it can be done that fast, but he declares that's all it takes if you've got some communication going. And reaction to the results...
Doctors predicted he'd never walk or talk again.
But as Como's Brooke Stanford found out, he was able to team up with his faithful horse and a talented trainer to find a solution.
Ernie Kirchhoff will never forget that day in 1986 when a semi-truck ran a red light and crashed into his little Honda. The accident left him head injured and paralyzed, but Ernie fought back. And part of the solution he found came from a good friend, a stallion named Spooky. But the story really begins with an energetic trainer named Darik Anderson, who loves horses. You see, Darik knows how to teach horses.
Some of the behaviors that he does, we can walk on our hind legs. Good boy.
But Darik can teach a horse to do something its instincts tell it not to do, to lie down.
I know it's a little hard. Find a soft spot. Good boy.
To Ernie, what you just saw has made a huge difference because Darik taught his horse, Spooky, the same maneuver.
Down. Down. Good boy.
In a few moments, Ernie's limp is gone. He is astride a beautiful Tennessee walker, and all things are possible. Ernie has been working for 10 years to get back his mobility, but he says the last 3 years with Spooky have taken him further than he ever dreamed.
Oh, he's my friend. He's my friend.
Brooke Stanford, Como News 4.
Ernie and Spooky will put on a special exhibition ride this Sunday at the Warren Wood Farms in Snohomish.
If
It is with great pride that we present to you the great Bay Shaboom and Darik Anderson.
Back. Back, please. Back. Best reward you can possibly give a baby. Take control, give them exactly what they were asking for, but you gave it to them. Take it from you.
Most people have trouble catching it. Flip over backwards. Good baby. Nope. Good baby. Hi, I'm Darik Anderson, and I just wanted to share with you some of the babies and things that we play with, some of the applications of leading and positioning. That's what we're going to cover today. I've been doing this for about 25 years, and this is probably one of the most rewarding parts of it, is playing with the babies, because they have no baggage. They're the easiest to work with, using the reward of acceptance that they're so hungry for, able to detail your communication with them. The practical applications, the babies that are taught to lead with butt ropes or by dragging them around, they usually have problems. They flip over or pull back or hurt themselves, or at least there's the opportunity for them to hurt themselves. And we don't want to teach a horse just how much stronger we are than them, because someday we might not be, or they might grow up and be a little bigger than they are when they're this age. This one's only a month old, and he's been worked with probably 4 times, once by me and 3 times by the owner. And you can see he's doing really well. I'm very proud of him. If you'd like to come along with me into the arena, I'm going to set up step by step today how to use these tools and apply the tools that already exist in your horse to better facilitate their contribution, which is a far leap ahead of cooperation. Cooperation just means they allow you to do it to them. But that's not the kind of partner I'm looking for. I'm looking for a contributing member. And they'll stay until the job's done. Employees stay till 9 to 5, and a slave only does what he has to do. But when you've got a partner and a friend that's contributing, they'll stay till you're finished. Increases their attention span, can literally make them herd-bound to an owner. And this is a great time to start. But it doesn't mean you have to start with a baby. I mean, these are just the most fun to work. But we've got some big horses I'd like to show you in the arena. So if you come with me now, we'll set up a few different ones, from stallions to mares, and show you practical application for specifics in leading and positioning, how to define yourself and develop a relationship, and tools of communication that are going to take you a long, long ways that you'll find useful in any discipline that you happen to be involved in the horse industry. So let's go into the arena now. Take a look at somebody else. Defining yourself, your introduction to the horse. We've got to start somewhere. We're going to put the halter on. How you define yourself to the horse as another prey animal, not a predator, is very, very important. Now, if you were a predator, you may get the responses physically at first, but they're not truly responses. They're not done with thought. They're reactive. You get reactions that show up physically, but they're not thoughtful responses. They're not contributing. They're doing it because of you. We want them to do it with you and for you. More than just non-resistance, we want contribution. And defining yourself and how you do that, we're going to give you the tools to define yourself as another member and a social standing member, so that you'll be respected and not taken advantage of. I'm sure some of us have felt that at one time or another. But we're going to use another baby. This is a 3-month-old Arab filly, and we're going to use her to help you learn how to define yourself. We're going to get their attention and invite them in, facing the same way that they do. Good girl, good girl, good girl. Turning away and waiting, encouraging the baby, good girl, to come on into position. Good girl. When you begin a motion or you begin to do your leading and positioning, we want to be, in effect, that lead mare. Now, do you think that lead horse or lead stallion
turns around to the herd of horses and says, "Hey guys, would you like to go this way?" No, they're the lead because they know where they're going and they have the confidence to set out on their own. Now that confidence that they're displaying, which allows them to begin a journey without anyone else, is perceived by the other horses as leadership qualities. Obviously, that horse is so smart or so well equipped to go in that direction and has a reason that they follow without question, because they know that that lead horse has the same set of priorities that they do, because it's the same horse, same animal, same species. So it's important that we do that and not invoke the flight response. When we offer a gesture or a request to the horse, like just going forward, we don't want to turn to the horse and say, "Are you coming? Would you like to come this way?" We want to exhibit those leadership qualities and simply go there. The horse's herd reflex will take over and they'll follow. If they don't follow, then what we would want to do is not turn back towards the horse and say, "Oh, you want to go that way?" Because the horse would perceive you as being willing to listen to a new direction or listen to their instructions, because they wanted to turn right. They didn't want to go the direction you wanted to go. To turn towards them, you're turning right. You're turning the way that they did. Okay, so what we want to do if they don't come forward with us at first is we want to come around behind, move them forward, and then retake our position as leader. Hup. Good baby. The simple gesture of raising your hand, we're using our hand and arm as a head and neck to be perceived by the horse. Now, when we stop to raise our hand, our pseudo head and neck, we're checking the area to make sure it's safe to stop here, the way any prey animal would. So we're showing them, again, that we're not a predator, but instead we have the same concerns and fears that they do. Then when we make a decision, we're going to meet with less resistance because they know we have the same set of priorities. In backing up, we don't want to use a predatory sort of response, invoking the flight response by startling our horse or physically pushing them back with a lead rope or chasing them backwards. But instead, we want them to back with us. We want to be part of everything. The more clearly you're able to define yourself as this part, the more solid your relationship will be and the better your communications will be received. We'll back with the horse. Hey, 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 hey. Not chase the horse backwards. We want to go forward. We begin to go forward with the horse. Now, as a baby would cut off a mother and say, "I want a nurse. I don't want you to go forward anymore." That's just what this baby's doing to me right now. So we're going to say, "No, no, no. Back here. Back here. There you go. Back. Good, baby. There you go. Up. Good. Good, baby. Up, 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 up. Very nice. Good, baby. There you go. Okay, being an upper social class gives you the right to insist or argue the point after you've given a request or an instruction. And I can ask, hup, 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 hup. Good, baby. There go. There go, sweetheart. Okay? I can present. Good, baby. Good. And stop. Good. Baby, over. Some of the practical applications of this, for instance, loading in a trailer. If I say that it's safe and I'm the same kind of animal, they know the priorities are the same, then that trailer must be okay. And I can present that space. Okay? Backing out of the trailer. Yep. We can back together. We don't have to turn around to jump out. Mounting. Getting next to a mounting block. The horse can learn to contribute so much to the whole job. Walking through mud puddles, whatever it might be. Good baby, good baby. This is pretty tall for this baby. Can we help you? Come here. Come here. Come here. Good. There you go. Good. Come on. Good baby. Good baby. Good baby. Yes, that's okay. Yeah. Oh, it's a good baby. Oh, it's a good baby. It's a good baby. Yes, it's a good baby. Yes, it's a good baby. There you go. Oop, you fell off. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay, honey. It's okay, honey. You don't have to get up there. Come here. Being the same type of animal and defining yourself opens up doors that you just don't have otherwise. The cooperation and trust that you're able to bring out in a baby, or any horse for that matter, with nothing reserved or held back. Good baby. Good baby. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Hey. 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 Good baby. Good baby. It allows you a great deal of flexibility as to behaviors that you can request without them thinking that at some point in your relationship you're going to get hungry. So defining yourself is always your first goal, and make sure that that's nice and clear. Then we can move on. Hup, hup, hup. In this next segment, we're going to talk about basic body language, hand signals, how you can best be understood so the horse can see what you are going to do prior to putting any pressure on them. Let's go into the arena and take a look at how that works. Basic body language. We're going to express different ideas, concepts, requests to this horse using the basic tools of body language. We needed some length to our barrel. That's why we have a whip. This is my body and my tail back here. My head and neck is going to be my arm and hand. So I can suggest, imply, or request different things prior to putting pressure on this horse, and you'll get to see his reaction. Now this is a 3-year-old Hanoverian stallion who you can't get much more aggressive or testosterone driven than this guy. He's a beautiful stallion, and we've just begun working with him here. He just came into training in the barn. We've done some lessons for farm calls at the owner's facility, but it's not like having them here in the barn. So he's just gotten started. He's been here for about 2 weeks, I guess. The first thing we're going to do is get their attention. Whether it be people or what species you might be, that always is an attention getter or a stop. Then this is always a presentation, an open palm. Starting from an upward position to a lower position, you're presenting something. You'd get a group of people, you'd get their attention, and show them where you want them to go. Then this is always sweeping stuff away, no matter what species you might be. Even a fly. Let's go take care of this stallion, and I'll show you how we apply some of this body language. Hey, bud! Here! Now, when he looks at us, hup, we're going to show him what we want. Good boy. Good boy. Up, up. I want your attention, and stop that. Hey! Good boy. I want you to come here. Good boy. Ho. Good boy. Come along. Good boy. Stop. Good boy. A presentation of space to occupy. A request for space. Good. a stop or a halt. Just a simple rotation of your hand. Now these body languages are given in a smooth, slow order. Now we're using the horse's ability to understand the concept of growth and progression. For instance, if you were to throw our hand up in the air to get the horse to stop, or some violent reaction, we'd be invoking a flight response or trying to startle the horse. Now, if that's what we do, you can only startle someone with a trick or scare them so many times, and then it just becomes an irritating trick. But we can show this horse progression, and this horse is going to look at me come up and grow and say, in a half an hour, that man's going to be 40 feet tall, and he's going to need some more room. So he'll give me that space, where if I just shoot my hand up in the air, it didn't do a darn thing. He saw immediately how tall I was going to become and said, oh, I can deal with that, no big deal. Because he's not afraid of me. But he can respect me, and I can say, hey, 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 good boy, oh, good boy, thank you. And if you can present right, hey, hep, good boy, hey, good boy, good, hep, 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 good boy. Ho, stop, back, forward, left. If you can present all these things, hep, why can't you present, hep, an up here, hep, 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 good boy, hep, hep, back, over here, head up, good boy, hep, 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 good boy, or even a down, good boy, hey, down, good boy, hop, hop, down, here, here, down, here, all the way, good boy, ho, 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 good boy, good boy. It's limited just by your horse's physical ability and your imagination. But these are the basics of communication. Now, if they can teach a gorilla to do sign language, I think we'll be able to teach our horses to do a great deal also. I think you'll be pleased in how applicable all these tools become as you work with your animal. The basic of asserting yourself as an authority figure, of demanding that respect or responsiveness from your horse, those right there are the leadership principles. A leader doesn't have to be the strongest, the most aggressive. You don't have to be that way to be leader. You have to be smarter. And you have to be focused as to what it is you are going to do. If you are trying to affect the horse, then you're not the leader because you're simply trying to be. Leaders don't try, leaders do. Leaders lead. They don't chase, they don't drag, they lead. And that in itself is probably one of the most important aspects of leading and positioning that I believe is omitted when working with a horse. Now these things out here, like the little box or the barrels, you only get away with saying, because I said so, in an arena situation so many times. And then the horses will begin to try to find a practical reason for those requests, whether it be a footprint in the arena. And then they begin to spook at footprints. They can only get away with that so many times. So if you bring in some practical, obvious reason for your requests, it's far easier for their egos to accept and understand. So it's not because you said so all the time. They can actually see it for themselves. And it helps them to, again, understand that you too have the same priorities that they do and have to handle things the same way. So you can do things with them. Just opens up more doors than walk, trot, and canter. Hey, bud. Here. Now this is a point here. When he takes off, I need to tell him, no, hey, hey, no, and express, I didn't like it, don't. And every horse is different. This is a stallion who accepts a great deal of pressure. Some horses, like the little filly we worked with, very little. Hey! Here! I don't like that. Now, just me moving towards him quickly was a form of pressure. Hey! Hey! Good boy. Good in here. Staying focused as to what I wanted him to do left him perceiving me as leader. If he didn't perceive me as leader, he would not have had the respect to not follow through with his aggression there, and he probably would have come after me or tried to discipline me. Because if you're not the leader, you're the follower. If you're the follower, then you have the responsibility to listen or be reprimanded by a leader. Someone's going to be leader. You decide. Anytime you're not leading, they are. Hey! I use my whip, make a little noise to get their attention. They look up, they see me. I offer a behavior for them to exhibit, a position to occupy. Oh. I tell them they're good for doing it. Now, when we're offering a behavior or a request, when we're initiating a request with our horse, don't continue to ask when you see they're proceeding in the right direction. Hup. We simply tell them, good, good boy. Hup. Here. Here. Good boy. Here. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, you can go. Good boy. It's okay. Hup. Good boy. Right there, I respectfully walked away from him. Didn't turn my back. That's an interesting point, basic body language. At the fair, have you ever been there at the last day of a fair or carnival and seen the horses in the 4-H barns and things? How sad and grumpy they are. How irritated with life. Staying in the back of their stalls, their ears pinned, their lower lip hanging, or some of them aggressive and have become nipping at people, become very disgruntled. Well, no one ever thought to figure out why, but it's because so many times they've been insulted. Thousands of times those horses have been told how much they're disrespected and how little importance is given to them by people getting their attention, which to a horse is an introduction, and then turning their backs directly to them and walking away in reply to the horse's acknowledgement. So in effect, the horse perceived us saying, hello, my name's so-and-so, what's your name? And who are you? And a horse defines who they are as their social structure and the whole 9 yards. Well, our reply to that was, oh, you're unimportant and unconsequential, and walked away. Now, how many times can you be told you have no merit and are unimportant before you either become a little apathetic and accept that, or you become aggressive and say, no, I am important? That's body language. Basic body language is so important because it sets the mood for everything and how your requests are going to be received. So we've established a little bit of social structure. Hey, right now, you don't want to be too far above in your social ranking, because if you are, good boy, hey, hey, then the horse becomes a little timid about working for you in apprehension of perhaps making a mistake, knowing that he doesn't belong, that he doesn't belong in that social structure or that social class. But being right nearby there, that's the key, and knowing who you are and who they're working for so they can do a good job. And let's move on. Pressure. We're going to talk about the applications and implications of pressure and a horse's perception of it so that it doesn't become abuse. Every horse is different, just like people. They're going to react differently to pressure. They're going to perceive different things as pressure. where clearing your throat or acting disappointed in one horse may be sufficient pressure. Too much pressure, you distract your animal from the subject at hand, and they don't actually focus on what you're trying to teach them. But instead, they might worry about the discipline or a reprimand that might be possible. So you lose contribution or try because the animal doesn't want to try and maybe make a mistake. But let's see how that's applied when we go into the arena. Pressure. We're going to discuss a few different personalities and the degree of pressure that we'll use for the different type of personality traits. For instance, this 3-year-old stallion is rather confident. You have to be more assertive or confident than they are. Hey, excuse you. In order to be perceived as a leader or of an upper social class. Hup, good boy. Now, with this guy, you wouldn't cut him quite as much leeway when it comes to requests, because when he's not working for you, he's working for himself. Someone's going to be leader, and you need it to be you. That keeps the both of you safe. Come here, bud. And like right there, hup. Good boy. Now, I would reprimand or give him a negative with the whip, but never more than once. A reprimand only comes in numbers of 1 and only of sufficient pressure to be recognized by the animal and to get a response. Doesn't have to be the correct response. You don't put pressure on them until they do exactly what it was you were saying, but you would apply pressure as a negative as prompted as a reply to their behavior, but we don't use pressure as a request. And we always have a request in place, like this, when the pressure is applied, so that the horse can look up and say, you know, I could have done that, and I'd have been okay. If I listen to this guy, he's going to tell me what to do in order to stay safe and to avoid any pressure or anxiety. I will then take responsibility for his safety because he's working for me and he's earned it. And that's the way horses feel. This inborn sense of justice tells them, hey, that if they're working for us, we owe them, good boy, that security and protection. And if he's not working for us, no amount of good boy or good girl, that's okay, hep, will do. They won't believe it. Good boy. Good boy. You can go. Good. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. It's all right. He doesn't want to leave. That's okay. I'm not going to chase a horse away from us. I think being with us is a good thing. Why would we want to teach a horse to leave us? Good boy. The practical applications are just immense. Mounting. Hep. Come here. Good boy. Hey. Hep. Good. Over here. Good. Hep. One step. Good. Hep. Good boy. Hep. Good. Good boy. Hep. Good boy. I mean, how convenient. And these are just some of the things, and they're little. Every horse in the barn here that's in training does 90% of these things already. These are the basics, or what's accepted here at our stables. And pretty soon, it'll be accepted and expected in yours, I hope. Hey, come on, let's go play. Good boy. Hup. Good boy. Hup, hup, hup. Pressure without a release is abuse. If that animal knows what he's asked to do, then the amount of pressure needed to create a change in his response is up to him. Pressure should be directly related to the behavior, not anger or the horse's relationship with you. It should be directly related to what he did, and it's over. Always expressing that we're there for them and they can always come home. Good boy. There go. Good boy. Good. There go, son. Good boy. What a good boy you are. Come along. Good boy. There you go. Good. Come on. Good boy. Good. Come on, son. Good boy. There you go. Good. Good boy. Good boy. Good. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Come. Good boy. It's okay. Good boy. Come on. Good boy. There you go. What? Hi, buddy. To give you a different perspective and perhaps a different personality to work with, we brought in a Palomino gelding who's a little more timid. I feel he's had a little abuse in his background, too much pressure put on him without him understanding exactly what he should do. So he's always worried that we're going to surprise him with some sort of aggression or pressure. We'll show you here how overcoming the flight response, rather than being so aggressive, by holding a request. Good boy. Good. Reinitiating it without telling him he's wrong for ceasing his motion, but instead just express he needs to show you a little more of it. And this way the horse will become more and more solid about his responses. Presenting a space for him to occupy, letting him know he's got to come all the way up. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. And stand somewhat close to us. Hey, hey, hey. Good boy. Good. An invitation or opening of a space for the horse. Good. Hey, hey, hey. Is sometimes the better part of getting them to reposition themselves. If you're working with a horse, the rules of predator-prey relationship take part in a lot of your pressure and release, or having a horse move away from pressure. The rule being written in stone, and you should write this down somewhere, that a horse will move away from the anticipation of contact. Once contact is made, the horse will move into contact. Example, wolf chases horse, horse running away from wolf in anticipation of the contact, wolf chasing horse in anticipation of that same contact. Once contact is made, the wolf bites down and pulls back to stop the horse. The horse throws himself into the wolf, kicking and sitting on him, crushing wolf, end of game. Idea being, once contact was made, the horse, as a defense, throws themselves into that contact or pressure. So, pushing a horse away, good boy, good boy, good boy, good, sometimes doesn't work. But ask him to go away. That anticipation of contact is very effective. So you notice I could put a great deal of pressure on him, good boy, trying to push him over. For instance, in a wash rack, and you're trying to hose the back end and the horse moves into you, you could stand there all day and try to push, and he would crush you against the wall and you'd get all wet. But just turn over, look over your other shoulder, and just the same way he would respond to a lead horse that circles out around the herd, chasing the stragglers back up into the middle, and then going on up through the herd to regain her lead would do, and how that would be received. You can be received that way also. Good boy, good boy, good, good, good boy, good boy. Some simple things you can do. You can just kind of play with your rhythms and your requests making almost a dance out of it. Now that we've discovered how to ask and we've gotten our tools of communication in place, let's work on what to ask. Forward, back, left, right, up, down. Let's begin to imply and suggest and request so that the horse is allowed to contribute and see just how much cooperation and help we can get in doing the everyday jobs that we have to do with our horse. If we have a halter, that horse should understand his part or contribution would be coming and putting his face in it. If we are in need of mounting, perhaps we need his back under our behind. Or if we go out to catch him, wouldn't it be nice if he met us at the gate? All these things are possible through the relationship built by communication. Let's go learn how to ask for their help. Now that we've explored the different tools to express ourselves and to communicate ideas, let's put them to practical use in showing a horse the position that they should be in next to us, how we're going to apply all these tools, so to speak, to create useful behaviors that we're going to use every day. Now, suppose, though, that your horse is a bit desensitized and a little quiet, been overhandled or overtrained to where he just waits to be pushed, prodded, or pulled because he knows sooner or later you will. So he doesn't respond right away to these signals or to these cues. How do we go about resensitizing or teaching them that, yes, I want you to volunteer or to make an effort and contribute yourself. I don't want you to just stand there and wait for me to push you around or poke you here or there. We do that the same way that we discussed earlier regarding the cues of placing the cue there while it's in place. And if you have to use a little pressure to tell him, no, that wasn't the right response, you can, not as an aggression, but as a result. We're going to use a system I like to refer to as the 3 R's. Request, that's us, his response, and then our job to show him the result. Request, response, result. Request, his response, the result. Okay? And you're going to be 3 things in order to deliver these communications clearly and smoothly. You're going to be consistent, and you're going to be fair, and you're going to be expressive. So don't hide it. Show him what it is you want as clearly as possible, and always reply to his response. Just because he did it correctly doesn't mean you shouldn't tell him he's a good boy. And no matter how much time or pressure it took to make it happen, when he finally does do what it is you're asking, you need to make sure that you let him know that you appreciate it. Being expressive is how you develop a relationship. Now, we want the horse to stand beside us. Anyone who's watched a cutting competition or horses interact with one another know that if a horse blames you for the work that he's doing or feels he's having to do it because of you or for you, after a while they lose patience. Like a cutting horse will try to bite the cow because he wants that cow to hold still so he doesn't have to work anymore. Well, if you lead with your horse behind you and your arm out here in front, basically what you're doing is trolling for your horse, and eventually you're going to get a bite because the horse doesn't have hands. See what happens there? Look at that. He's going to reach up, take a hold of my arm, and tell me to stop. And we don't want that to happen. So we should walk with our horse. Make sure that he comes up next to you so you're walking about at his shoulder, where you're able to reach up and just get the back of your hand up there near his nose so he can see your hand to take a cue. You don't want to work it down here, because if we were signing, which is what we're doing, we're expressing what we want with body language. If we were signing for a deaf person, we wouldn't do it with our hands located behind our backs. That would be mean and non-effective. We want to be out here where he can see us and be nice and clear about your cues. Good boy. Turn up. Good boy. So that if we do have to reprimand him for something, it wouldn't be our fault for not communicating the idea clearly enough. Boy. Up, up, up. Now, in resensitizing, what we touched on just a moment ago, we would decide how long you're going to wait for a response. I like the rule of 3. 1001, 1002, 1003. When delivering a cue, we're going to do it slowly. 1001, 1002, 1003. And then during that cue, we have time to think about what we're going to do based on what sort of responses he might give us. Now, as I did this, I said to myself, if he doesn't back up, I'm going to bump him gently under the chin with the butt of this whip, and he has, before I hit 1003, to respond. Okay? So 1001, 1002, 1003. Good boy. 1001, 1002, 1003. Very good boy. Both instances were request, his response, back to me, show him the result of his behavior. Now these become permanent parts of a horse's behavior and perception of the world around them. How they look at people, how they respond to us. With this sort of training, other than in contrast to the muscle pressure release sort of training, the horse learning he has to do it because we have the ability to make him with tie downs and side reins and everything else. This sort of training becomes a permanent part of who they are. And you can turn them out in the pasture for 4 or 5 years, bring them back in, and the horse still knows and remembers all these little things because they became the horse's choice to respond in these manners to affect their environment in a positive way. Now we want this horse to walk next to us so that we don't get those resistance or we don't get the blame for going somewhere maybe that the horse doesn't want to go. If you're walking next to them, you're going with them. And they're coming along with you, not because of you. If you're out in front of them, making them come along, they're coming because of you. Does that make sense? So we want to go with our horses. Now, that's why we have this position. We hold our hand out from our side. Note that the elbows into the side, but the hand and arm are out away from my body, because I want this horse to follow my hand over here, or up here, or back here. Good boy. And if my hand is in front of me like this, how's he going to get to my hand? Over my shoulder. He's going to walk right on top of me. Hey, 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 hey. See what happens? And then he gets in the way. So when we want a horse to come forward, we want this hand to go out away from us. Okay? If he's trying to turn towards us, we want the hand up and away. If he's trying to turn away from us, we'd bring the hand down and forward. A little too slow, look over your other shoulder. Raise the hand to stop. Good boy. Show him the result of his responses. Good boy. Good boy. You set the pace. They're not allowed to circle. Good boy. In case you ever decide to get married on horseback, you can always have that in place. Now these things that we're doing right here, all of them are possible within 30 minutes with the average horse. I wish that I had somebody in the barn who we hadn't actually worked with at least once, because 90% of them once is about all it takes, and you can get these sort of responses. Establishing the boundaries, communicating, developing a relationship, the basics of forward and back, back is up and down. Now, why does a horse want to look at you with two eyes, especially when you go to back up? So they have that depth perception, because it takes 2 points of reference to have a depth perception. Now, when a horse just sees you with one eye, he doesn't see proximity near as well. But he does see up and down real well. Good boy. Good boy. And you can present up all the way to up. Good boy. Up. Good boy. How far up would you like him? Good boy. Oh. Let's see. To mount on a mounting block. This leading and positioning, to have him in this position is so handy because you can go get on your mounting block and then call him over. Hey, hey, no, over here. I want on the block. You go over here. A little further. Good. Oh. And get on. Good boy. Let's say we want to put a saddle on, and many of us have been challenged with the old heavy saddles to hold one up in the air and follow the horse around, trying to put the saddle on as the horse moves around. Wouldn't it be nice if we could hold the saddle up and say, hey, come here, good boy, good boy, and put it on that way? To have his active help and contribution to a job that they can see needs to be done. Again, like, here's the saddle. Here. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Hey, hey, hey. Good. Good. Hey. Just to move over in the aisleway of a stables, perhaps, to let another horse by, to be able to motion and then slide your rear end over. Hup, 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 hup. Good. Oh. To blend these basic communication skills and cues or signs, so to speak, together, no, to mean other things, is completely open to your imagination. Once you learn the rules of language, like we know the rules of English language, so that we're able to make up words to mean what we need to say. And usually they're understood by others, even if we can't find them in the dictionary. With the horses and their rule of language, once established, have it in place, you can do the same thing. You can make up words by blending different cues together. Like I can blend a forward and left, don't, to a right-hand turn and a back. And now let's blend those two together to say this way, now this way, up, up, no, no, good. Good, over here. No, over here. Good boy. Here. Good. And here. Good boy. And here. Up. Good. Up. Good. Up. Good. Up. Good. Up. Good. Okay. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. So we can say, I want you to side pass by going left and forward, right and back. Left and forward, right and back. Left and forward, right and back. Blend them together. Good boy, good boy. And we have a whole new behavior. How we choose to use the communication is up to you, and that's the fun thing about it. It leaves it wide open for any discipline at all. The main things I'm concerned about is the proximity the horse is to you, the basics of forward, stop, creating the space, backing up. Now when backing, an interesting detail to backing, if you back into your horse's shoulder when you're backing with them, the horse will back into you or mirror you. If you back looking at him, he will turn and back looking at you. I'll demonstrate. Hey, hey. Pay attention, son. Ready? And up, up, back, 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 back. As I backed into his shoulder, note his bottom went behind me. Okay, now if I back and look at him, back, 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 hey, 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 hey. Hello? Thank you. Good boy, back, back, back. There we go, back. Good. Come on, son. But this horse is rather soft or relaxed about these things. I actually owned him for a short time for my children, and he was sold to a client. Very, very soft and careful with the children, not very excitable. But we still need them to be responsive. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, guys, now we've gone through this. Your horse should be doing the leading positioning, relating to you, and understanding what it is that you need from them prior to any pressure being put on. The test is, let's take that halter and lead rope off. If you've developed the communication, developed the relationship, and the understanding of these basic signals between you and your horse, you shouldn't need that lead rope and halter because it's mental control, not physical control. Will he still stop, go forward, back, turns? If he doesn't, then you've relied a little too much on the ability to pull on that rope and physically show him what you want. I want you to learn to be expressive and ask prior to that pulling or pushing. So here's your test. I'll show you how to get through it. Having the answers is always more fun. Let's go do it. Now, the big test is going to be taking that halter off. Now, in order to take a test, first I got to show you how to open up the booklet here. And how we take even the halter off is important, because how you turn them loose or how you have control of that behavior is, or can be, equally as important as how you put it on. Because a horse may get the habit of ripping out of the halter or thinking that you unbuckled it and try to turn and run away. And we don't want that to happen. Messes up tack, pull your arm right out of socket. So what we want to do when we take a halter off is to ask the horse to continue to stand right here next to us, that he's not released. Good boy. Good boy. And while maintaining a contact on our horse, or a hand on him, okay, you're going to move to the other side of your horse. Good boy. Go down and leave his hip at a 45-degree angle, turning your left shoulder towards him, and walk away. Now, with my left shoulder towards him, he doesn't really have a spot to come in, because a horse's place to lead would be on my right shoulder. A dog place is on your left. And if we don't show him that right shoulder or make it available for him, he's kind of out there on his own. But knowing what position he's supposed to be in, referring back to that tool, is what's going to help you here. Because now, without using any means of physical coercion or push or pull, you can check yourself and see, does my horse really understand, or am I handicapping his learning curve by assisting too much? Am I physically trying to hold my horse back? Do I put my arm across in front of his neck to tell him, whoa? Do I pull on my halter rope? Am I still wrestling with a 1,000-pound animal? So you can check your perception and his by taking that halter off and ask him for the same things. Back, back, back. Good boy, good boy. Ho. Good, good boy. No, I don't want to scratch you. Good boy. And if it's still there, good boy. Hup. Good boy. Side pass. Hup. Hey, 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 hey. Good. Ho. Good boy. Good boy. And over here. Hey, hey. Good boy. And you still have that kind of cooperation. And you did a great job, guys. If you don't have all that cooperation yet, there seems to be some confusion or ambiguity, just like on the shampoo bottle. Repeat as necessary until everything is quite clear to your animal. And then it opens up a whole new world. Mental control with your horse rather than physical control gives you so many more options Imagine trail riding without a bridle and saddle. Sitting backwards on a horse with no saddle and no bridle, going down a trail you're unfamiliar with, and still having control, talking with the person behind you. Or being able to get off and tell your horse to wait there. Or turning him loose in the woods, knowing that when you do call him, he's going to come back and find you because you have a relationship. About having them contribute to everything that they see you're trying to do to them or with them. Remember, it's with them, not to them, and with you, not because of you. And responses we want, not reactions. Reactions are like tap you in the knee and your leg will swing. You don't have to think for that to happen. And you're going to kick somebody every time. Those are reactions. We want responses. We want their horse's mind there. When we really are hurt is when the horse loses track of where we're at. Good boy. Good boy. But imagine being able to do all those things with nothing. I can show you how. I mean, he can lay down for me to get on. Hey, hey, hey. Good boy. Down, down, here. Down, here. Good boy. Ho, ho, down. Good boy. Down here. Here, bud. Good boy. Good, good. Down, down. Good boy. Right here. Down. Hey. Good, good. Good boy. Ho, 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 ho. Good. Hey. Yeah, yes. Here, come back. Good boy. Down. Yeah. Good boy. Down. Good boy. Ho, 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 ho. Hey. Hello. Good boy. Good boy. Okay. Up. Come on. Let's go. Shazam, come on. I'll get the whip later. It's a bad angle for you to pick up. There you go. Here, I'll fix it for you. There. That better? Come on. Come on. Oh, there you go. Good boy. Good boy. Right turn, Clyde. Good boy. Good boy. There you go, son. Good boy. Left turn. Good boy. Good boy. Right turn. Good boy. Hey, hey, hey. Good boy. Good boy. Hey. Good boy. This way. Boom, 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 boom. There you go, buddy. Over here. Little left. Hey, good boy. Good boy. Hey, hey. A little right. Good boy. Or just a simple stop. Ho, ho. Good boy. Very nice. Back, back, back. Good boy. Hey, hey, Good, good. Hey, hey. Good boy. Hey, hey. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. There you go. There you go. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. My goodness. Ho. Good boy. Good boy. That's away. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Good boy. Oh. Okay, good boy. Good boy. Come on this way. Good boy. Good. Hey, 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 hey. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good. Good boy. Good. Hey, hey. Good boy. Good boy. Hey. Good boy. Good boy. Ho. Good boy. Good boy. Possibilities are endless. Okay, good job, guys. Just like on the shampoo bottle where it says repeat if necessary. So you might want to go back if there was any problems or you had any glitches and repeat some of those steps. Work with your horse a little bit more and make sure that everything is understood. There's more can be done. This is just some of the details in leading and positioning. But the things that you can express are up fourth level dressage movements, etc. Imagine going hiking or climbing the mountains with no tack. Imagine going trail riding with 50 other people with no tack. Imagine your horse contributing to the point of laying down for you to get on and off. Picking their feet up before you reach down to the ground to take a hold of them. All these things are possible and more. And I can show you how you can do it at home, yourself, safely, and have a lot of fun. We'll talk to you next time.
They can really learn to identify with you, but you'll never develop that with a dictator-type relationship. What's the difference between a dictator relationship, a dictatorial relationship, and let's say a democracy? Dictators tell you what to do and when to do it, and not to do anything until they tell you. Otherwise, you're thrown in prison or whatever. No free thought. Okay? Democracy, you have choices to do exactly what they want you to do. But you believe that you're free. You still have the same rules, but it's given to you in a choice format. Okay? So you're part of it. And then when you do something, you have a feeling of accomplishment, that you've done a job. Okay? If I were to shove you backwards, now all of you kind of feel this with me. If I were to just put my hands on your shoulders and shove you backwards, you would instantly feel resentment and become defensive. Am I correct? Okay. If I were to say to everyone, this is going to be a very excitable horse, and I'm going to need everyone to sit back as far as they can to help me with this job. You would all cooperate, and you would feel not only that you were part of it, but as the horse did well, you would feel a sense of accomplishment because you were part of the job that was done. Now the exact physical result, the exact same physical result happened. Exactly the same. But one you feel good about it and the other you're defensive and resentful. Now after I shoved you back once, if I started to shove you back again, you might scoot back, but you're going to get more and more angry. On the other hand, if I were to just start to suggest again that this is an excitable horse, I wouldn't have to tell you what to do. Right? You just automatically slip back because you're part of it. Horses feel that same sense of accomplishment. If they're always made to do things due to a physical response or pressure, what happens? If the only reason they're doing something is because of pressure, what happens if you have no pressure to put on them? What happens if you drop the reins, or didn't wear your spurs, or maybe you're a little off balance in the saddle? What kind of control do you have? None, that's right. Because they're only working in avoidance of pressure. If you don't have the ability to put pressure on them, they know they don't have to work. Okay? Those are the horses that take advantage of riders that are inexperienced. They take advantage of children. And they take advantage of you when you are not capable to put that pressure on them. If you don't have the whip, if you don't have the reins, if you're off balance. Okay? Horses that work for your acceptance. Can a child give acceptance? An inexperienced rider is full of it. They'll accept anything. Okay? The lack of acceptance can be shown by insecurity or by aggression. Can pressure ever be shown by insecurity? Very rarely. Insecurity has to be built so much as to a panic state. That's the only time that insecurity would show pressure. Okay? So when a horse sees someone's insecure, they know, aha, they can't put pressure on me, I got him. It's my rules now. But if a child becomes afraid and a horse is working for acceptance, the horse will work due to the lack of acceptance, will be motivated to try to find out what you need him to do so he can regain that acceptance. Little different thing. Okay, now let's put it to work. Brad, do we have a list of the horses we've got today?
Yeah.
Great. A few people. Gaines is tacking up right now, and she'd like to be able to canter and to be able to pick her back legs up. 5 months of training the horses had. They ride her Western. They tried English, and she was fine. Doesn't show yet. She doesn't use a bit yet, and she has trouble lifting her back legs. Okay, we'll have to talk to her a little bit about, I don't understand what she means by doesn't use a bit. Does she use a Moselle or a mechanical hackler or what? I'm not sure. Normally I use an 8-wet snaffle, a little fat one that children can hang from without hurting the horse's mouth. Because every day somebody invents a new bit, or a new tie down, or a new Ray Martingale, or draw reins, or come along, to force a horse or an animal to do what they want it to do, which does not require any thought, okay, on the animal's part. They're just jammed into this position. They don't know why, and being held tied into a position causes the muscles to just go up in knots. That's not a soft, supple horse. That's a horse that's cramping, okay? And that's called muscle training, muscle repetition training. They do that over and over and over again. Okay, that's an example that I usually give, and I can give it here because very few people have heard it. There was a young couple. Now this is about repetition training. There was a young couple, they had this cat, and they both worked. And they couldn't housebreak this cat. Every time they came in from work, this cat would rest and went right in the middle of the floor. And so they'd run and grab the cat by the back of the neck, shove his face in it real good, throw him out the screen door without opening it. The outside's where you go. They did that for 30 days. By the end of the month, they came home, the cat ran over, shoved his face in the coop, and jumped out the door. It's just that ridiculous. The cat never enjoyed putting his face in the poop, did he? And he didn't know why. It was just there. It was something they did. Do you think that cat looked forward to them coming home every night? No. Muscle repetition training leaves some holes, you know? It leaves some things to be desired. Your horse isn't really looking forward to seeing you. And if you don't have the means to make that horse do it, you think he's just going to volunteer? Oh yeah, I like to live in this cramped position. But you can develop the horse's muscles and teach them and work them that way. When I start working the horse's head down into a position, I let them go up and down. We pump those muscles up until they build that neck up properly, like you build a bicep up, and they can hold that head in that position comfortably, and they understand that it's part of carrying you, that they're more capable. That's why a sprinter gets down like this, okay? You get into a position where you're most capable to do the job that's about to be asked of you. And the horse learns after a time that in this framework, they're capable of doing what you're asking them to do. That's why frame is very important. A horse cannot just pick up a camera with his head sticking way up here in the air and his back all hollow. That would be very uncomfortable, just like it would be uncomfortable asking your back that way or to do a sliding stop. Very uncomfortable. But they don't know that. It's not inherent to them. I mean, how long have we had the Olympics going on? How many people follow the Olympics? Most people. How many years have the Olympics been going on? You know? 17 years? Don't reach out and touch that horse's bottom. Scoot back away from it, please. Turn the legs sideways. Okay, when a horse goes by for these young ladies that are feeling here on the end, I want you to swing your knees around the rim. Because if the horse is really in a bad spot, I don't want to see anybody get hurt. Okay. Well, where were we here? Oh, Olympics. The high jump, you know what high jump is? Everybody know what high jump is? Okay, when they started the Olympics for like 10 years, people ran forward and they would dive over a high jump, straight ahead, forward. One day, this guy says, I can jump higher going over it backwards. Now everybody goes over it backwards. the point is that even people do not know how to effectively use their body. They have to be taught and trained. And then after they learn it, everybody does it, because we all communicate. Unfortunately, horses don't communicate to that degree, or every horse would be in the frame and moving properly, so they wouldn't get sore backs and they can carry us better. Yeah, but that's the point, is because I'm going to ask in other clinics, well, how come horses don't just do it then if it's more comfortable? Or if they're more capable, why don't they just do it? Because they don't think about it. Okay? We don't think about how we use ourselves either. Okay, we were talking earlier about this horse. Let's go to work. Hi. What's your name? Your name? Okay. And the horse's name? Sachadal? And you call it the whole thing?
No, I call it Dolly.
Call her Dolly. Okay, that was how old is Dolly?
She's almost 4.
Almost 4. And what's been down with her so far?
She's been in training for well, off and on this year.
And she's 2 and a half. How old?
3.
Oh, she's 3, almost 4. Okay, go ahead.
And
It's sweet.
she's been mainly trained Western.
Okay.
She goes with an English saddle.
She's a little nervous.
It doesn't matter what saddle, but she doesn't use a big one.
Okay. You might want to scrub out. She got a little fungus here in the front of her neck. If you scrub that up and you get some Cap-Tan, you want the 50% Cap-Tan powder from the like garden store.
Okay.
Okay, and you scrub all those little bumps off, and you mix that up in kind of a milky solution, and you wipe it on there, and you just leave it, let it dry on there, and it'll kill all those little bumps and everything. Or you can go to the vet and he'll charge you $75, $80. That's exactly what he does. He puts it in a bottle for you, which is about $12. Okay, what kind of bit do you have there? What are you using on it? Tell you about it. I want to use just a big, fat snaffle bit, okay? Gina? A snaffle bit, if it's smaller in diameter in the mouthpiece, is it softer or more severe? More severe. The smaller the area covered, the more severe it is. Think about a cheese slicer wire, okay, or a piece of pipe trying to cut cheese. Okay, all right, now let's see. Yes?
Is the rubber, big snaffle, more comfortable than metal, or is there any difference?
There's a little difference, especially if they have like wolf teeth and things like that, but I don't find that there's that much difference in the rubber ones to this. I mean, I've got a couple rubber ones too. A few of my horses eventually just chew the rubber off them and they're going to have to throw them away. These kind of last longer. Okay, all right, bring them on over here. So this is a very soft bit. This is about as soft as you can get. It's not going to hurt anybody. I'll trade you here. Can you hold that for me? Okay. Oh, come on, sweets. Do you need to run around? Is that your problem? You do. You're just desperate. Come here. There you go. Sure, I got her. Yeah. Come here, sweetheart. Yeah, okay. Yes, you're just awesome. But let's see. Now you ride her all the time, right? Yeah. Well, shoot. Put your ride on her and ride her real quick, because I want to see what she does. Don't you? Why I like the snaffle is that I can keep a quiet line of communication as long as I want it without being interrupted, where a Bozell really doesn't leave you that, that constant light or soft or whatever. You can't deal with it quite like that. Okay? You think?
Well, I know.
You ride her how often though? Come on here.
On the weekends.
On the weekends? Okay. A Bozell gives you how much control if you hang on to it?
0.
Right. 0. Okay? Varying pressure within a constant contact on a Bozell gives you how much control? How many people know how to use a Bozell? Still doesn't give you any control. Bozell is pretty much on or off, and it's more of a bump. Okay? It's just a little tap, and you can tap lighter, tap softer. But meanwhile, especially with young horses, they're on their own. And that's the scariest thing for them. is that lack of communication. That's when they panic. That's when they get frightened. Okay. Because that's a lot of things that happen. We get the story they've been in training for 5 months. Well, after 5 months, I would think that the horse shouldn't buck. Agreed? If you were paying for 5 months, at the end of 5 months, you would say, I don't want him to buck anymore. Okay? I don't care about walk, trot, canter, flying, lead changes. I just don't want him to buck anymore. All right, we're gonna do a little desensitizing here, and we're gonna do it differently than how you've seen before. Instead of being real macho and saying, we're going to take control of this, and we're going to hobble this horse and throw gunny sacks all over them until they stand still, because they're afraid of gunny sacks, so we're going to hobble them, make them stand there so we can rub them over real good with gunny sacks. We wouldn't do that to our children. If your children are afraid of the dark, you don't tie them to the bed and turn the lights out. Agreed? Can you see the relationship between sacking a horse out, cowboy style, and tying your child to the bed and turning the lights out? Can anyone not see that relationship? Okay, all right. We're going to do something very different. We're going to throw ourselves on the mercy of this horse. Yeah. Scary. Scary stuff. That's much better. She's getting better. She's relaxing a little bit. Okay. I understand. She's probably nervous too. I got news for you.